everyone, and welcome. We are in the 2016, it could be the 2017, I'm not quite sure, Challenger SRT. Is it the SRT?
Yeah, SRT.
Shaker hood, which is pretty cool actually, because you can look out at the hood, and when you floor it, you can watch it kind of torque over, which is pretty sweet. I'm here in the car with Matt, aka Super Darts Fan. If you haven't checked out his channel, you absolutely should. A lot of you guys have been kind of talking about I've been doing less car reviews, and that's certainly something that I have been doing less of. Part of because I moved, and part of because I just like jumping into super nerdy stuff that isn't car reviews. But this guy does awesome car reviews. I watched him when I was looking at buying an S2000. I was watching his S2000 reviews. He loves the AP1, so I went with an AP1, not solely because of Matt, but because there was one available that was nearby. But he really loved it. I respect his opinion. You should definitely check out his channel for car reviews. And in the back seat, we have Matt, aka Busted Knuckle Films. Is it videos? Busted Knuckle Films, videos?
It's Busted Knuckle Films, but the YouTube channel is Busted Knuckle Video.
Okay, so it's a little bit of both. You can Google either and you'll find something exciting. He's more into the off-road world. He's got 3 keywords that he likes to say.
UTV, off-road, and diesel.
So if you're into that, you're probably going to love his channel. And if you are into that, you've probably already seen his channel. But pretty cool stuff, and he's got good stuff on Facebook, and he sells cool hats like the one that he's wearing. Anyways, now that we've got all that out of the way, we're in the Shaker Scat Pack Challenger. It doesn't have a wide turning radius, but if you want to turn quicker, you can just use the throttle to do that, which is a nice benefit. It's a super huge car. What I kind of like about this vehicle is that it's exactly what you expect when you get into it. I was expecting it to drive like a boat and have a boatload of power, and it drives like a boat and has a boatload of power, and that's pretty much the story of it. It's fun though. Like, I was thinking I like, lighter sports cars than this, that, tend to not have quite as much power but weigh a lot less. And, I still get surprised every time I get in one of these Chargers or Challengers about how much fun I have, because they are a ton of fun, because your right foot just lights up the rear tires any time you put it down, and that's exciting to do. So I've enjoyed it. 6.4 liter, 485 horsepower, 475 pound-feet of torque. One of the cool things, it is a push rod, and you think, okay, push rod like it's dated technology, but there's some cool stuff in there. They've got sodium-filled exhaust valves, and the reason they do that is it helps transfer heat away from the head of that exhaust valve into the stem of it and helps dissipate that heat, keeps the exhaust valves cooler. They also have hollow intake valves, and you do that for basically valve float. It makes them lighter, less reciprocating mass. One of the problems with these big pushrod engines is that it's hard to get them to rev high, so you want to take out mass that's reciprocating so that you can rev high and not have valve float. So a cool solution that they kind of throw in there. So there is some cool tech that goes into it, even though it is this like big, heavy. This car weighs 4,240 pounds and 485 horsepower, so everything's big, but it's big fun. And it's convenient enough that Matt can sit back there. How are you feeling back there?
It's not too bad. I'm 6 foot tall, and I didn't expect to be able to get back here, but it's actually pretty roomy. I wouldn't go on a huge long road trip, but
yeah,
just riding around the Hoover Dam, I can definitely handle that.
Yeah, we are checking out the Hoover Dam. I don't think I mentioned that. We're on the road to SEMA, so we've got a bunch of different cars out here checking out the Hoover Dam. But he's right, like, I didn't expect it either. You look at the car on the outside, and you truthfully can fit in the back seats and actually use them. It's not like, something like the BRZ where it's like they just throw them in there because they want to say it has 4 seats. This actually has 5, so the joke's kind of like the 5th seat. I wanted to get 5 people, but we didn't do that. Let's see, what else? Really touchy brakes in this, which is one thing that's interesting. The first time you get in it, you kind of lock it up real quick. So I wasn't expecting that. I was kind of expecting a bit more travel. Great throttle response, as is classic with naturally aspirated engines, especially these big ones. Tons of fun, and it is cool to see that Shaker hood moving around when you're on the throttle. The steering is very comfortable, and that's kind of what you expect. Again, like, there's not really a whole lot of surprises when you get in this thing, except that you're going to smile a lot. The steering very light, very comfortable, basically mutes any feedback that you get, and it's just a comfortable cruiser, and that's what they're really going for this. They really differentiate themselves from the Mustang, which we've got in front of us. Maybe you can touch on your thoughts on this versus the other muscle cars out there.
Yeah, I did a whole comparison video, and basically what it comes down to is just, I guess, power, honestly, and then the size. The Challenger is the muscle car. It is the actual muscle car. You look at the Camaro, that is an actual sports car now, and it'll give the M4 a run for its money and all that kind of stuff. Whereas this It goes in a straight line. I mean, it'll handle a corner without killing you, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. And the Mustang is kind of a happy medium. It tries to do everything decently well and do it at the cheapest price point, because it's a good amount cheaper, usually $3,000 to $5,000 comparable trim to trim over the Camaro and the Challenger. So, you know, the Mustang gives you 8/10 the power of the Challenger and gives you, maybe 7 or 8/10 the handling of the Camaro. And so it's kind of the middle ground there, I guess. But this is definitely, I think, the best for just going fast in a straight line.
If you like smoking tires and you can afford to smoke tires, this is the car that'll do it. As far as driver comfort, you do have plenty of space out here. I'm 6'1", and plenty of room for my legs. They're not bumping into anything. As far as visibility, the front windshield is pretty narrow. It is pretty narrow all the way around. It's not, Camaro bad, but the visibility isn't, as good as, for example, the Mustang. And especially looking out to your right, there is quite a big C-pillar there that pretty much covers quite a bit of your blind spot. But nothing too terrible. It's certainly livable, and it's not like the Camaro. So in that regard, the visibility story is fine. It does have this really heavy drone to it, and it reminds me of the Viper because of that, because the Viper has this very unique, super deep sound that just comes from it, and this is a 6.4 liter. I don't know if there are larger naturally aspirated engines aside from the Viper than this 6.4 liter, and you hear that. It's this super deep tone, which to me on the highway, like in the Viper, can get old, but this one's a little bit more calm in that regard, and you really only get it when you're really on the gas, so I like that. You get the roar when you want it, and you don't when you don't want it. And it's just been a fun car to cruise around in. I mean, we've been driving around Vegas. It's a flashy car, and Vegas is a flashy city with a lot of weird folks. So it's a good car to go around in, and we've been enjoying it. Any final thoughts, Matt, on the Challenger?
No, I love it. It's really, really fun, and it's old school, and it is old school because everyone is trying to be futuristic, and everything's trying to feel like a spaceship, and this just is happy being a 1971 Challenger, essentially. It's
predictable. Like I said, you get in it and you get exactly what you were expecting. Matt, what were your thoughts on the Challenger overall? Would you drive one of these?
I'd drive one for sure. I mean, I just like the exhaust note over anything. I don't need any radio. Just listen to that all day, every day, no problem. I like it a lot.
Right on. Well, thank you guys for watching, and be sure to check out Subaru WRX Fan and Busted Knuckle Films.